I found my stepson in the bath playing with his things. I entered a cunning treachery unfolding just beyond the narrow opening of the door. I observed Ethan at the wash basin, his back facing me, shirtless with his shoulders slightly hunched. His hands were occupied with something elusive just beyond my comprehension. I would tidy it up and take it when necessary. In those moments, I attempted to manage it, shifting it up and down. My thoughts were scattered in every direction. Your support is truly appreciated. The majority of our viewers, approximately 90%, have not. I've signed up. Your support is essential to maintain the excitement. Smash that subscribe button and activate notifications to stay updated on everything. Pay attention, for I am about to share a tale that comes with an unexpected turn. As I entered the bathroom, I was taken by surprise to find my stepson there. In that instant, I resolved to transform that moment into one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. It began on an ordinary Tuesday. The house was silent, as it often was on evenings when my stepson Ethan returned home a bit earlier than usual. His car was parked meticulously in the entrance path. Ethan had outgrown his childhood. At 22, he exuded a sense of quiet confidence, yet there lingered a subtle trace of uncertainty in his words. Bag down, heels off. The soft sound of water trickling from upstairs caught my attention. Ethan was likely in the shower, as he often is. Yet there was an elusive quality in the atmosphere that I struggled to identify. I attempted to dismiss the unsettling sensation as I swiftly took a sip of water. The evening promised to be quite ordinary, just Ethan and me enveloped in the tranquility of our home. Mark was on a business trip and wouldn't return until the morning. As I stepped outside, a profound sense of emptiness enveloped me deeper than ever before. As I ascended the stairs, I observed that the bathroom door was ajar, and the sound of running water reached my ears. Intrigued, I glanced inside, but what I encountered left me frozen in place. Ethan stood at the wash basin, his back turned to me, shirtless, shoulders drooping slightly. His hands were occupied with something hidden from my view. His trousers rested low on his hips, exuding an unexpectedly laid-back feel. Ethan appeared cautious and composed. The door to privacy was nearly ajar. I took a moment to stop. Should I knock, call out, or simply close it quietly and allow him some space while I figure out what to do? The door let out a soft creak as I moved, causing Ethan to spin around in astonishment. His eyes widened in terror. "Oh, I didn't notice you were here," he stammered quickly, snatching a towel to conceal his activities. His voice trembled, and he appeared nothing like the composed person I was accustomed to. "I'm accustomed to it at this point. I didn't intend to impose," I replied hastily. I turned my gaze, a flush creeping across my cheeks. The water appeared to murmur hidden truths, while his face flushed a deep crimson. His gaze locked onto the towel gripped tightly in his hand. It appeared to be insignificant, yet the tremor in his voice revealed his true emotions. There was an unsettling sensation in the air. He averted my gaze and let his shoulders droop as if burdened by an unseen load. I paused, my fingers lingering on the doorframe. A part of me wished to honor his privacy, yet a more compelling desire prompted me to discreetly inquire with Ethan. I entered the bathroom, ensuring the door was securely closed behind me. "If anything arises, please inform me." I made a vow to refrain from judgment. He clutched the towel firmly, then relaxed his hold slightly. For a moment, I believed he would remain silent. He exhaled unsteadily and perched himself on the rim of the tub. His voice carried a hint of shame, almost lost in a whisper. Leaning against the counter, I reassured him that he didn't need to share anything that made him uneasy, yet I suggested that sometimes expressing oneself can be beneficial. He offered a slight nod. He cast his gaze downward, studying the earth beneath him. "I've been grappling with something and wasn't sure who to confide in." I was taken aback by his candidness. Ethan, typically so self-reliant, seldom revealed personal matters. "What is it?" I inquired. He paused, massaging the nape of his neck, his tone steady, yet filled with optimism. "It concerns my physical form. Something feels off, but I can't tell if it's genuine or just my mind playing tricks." He continued to speak. Suddenly, as if he had been bottling it up for ages, a surge of compassion washed over me for him. It required immense bravery to express my thoughts, and I selected my words with great precision. "You are not alone. Having these kinds of questions is completely natural. It's truly commendable that you're focusing on your health. Would you like assistance with this?" He gazed at me, a blend of relief and uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "I don't mind." "Absolutely not," I replied with a reassuring smile. "We'll tackle this as a team." As our conversation continued, the initial discomfort began to dissipate. Ethan hesitantly voiced his concerns, his gaze averted and focused on the ground. I paid close attention while he talked, making an effort to remain composed and provide some useful guidance. His worries seemed pressing, and his voice trembled under the burden of what he had kept inside. The bathroom enveloped in warmth, and the scent of soap seemed an unusual setting for such an intimate conversation. Yet at that moment, it was the only place that truly mattered. "I'm not sure if this is typical," Ethan remarked, fiddling with the edge of his towel. "No guide available. This matter is genuine. The father in question isn't my first choice for guidance." His words lingered in my mind, a stark reality cutting through the discomfort. Ethan and Mark shared a good rapport, yet an unvoiced distance lingered between them. Neither of them appeared to grasp how to connect it. I spoke softly, resting against the wash basin to steady myself. Discussing certain topics can be challenging even with those who are nearest to you. Confronting those challenges directly is truly admirable. It's more effective to address them rather than simply overlook them. He nodded, his visage concealed in the dimness. I murmured, "I simply don't want to seem strange or out of place." "It's something everyone experiences at some time. You are not alone. Your courage in confronting it directly is commendable." A faint smile danced on his lips, and for a moment I believed he might ease up just a little. Yet it was evident that he was preoccupied with deeper thoughts. He softly murmured that he feels adrift, uncertain about his identity and the challenges he faces. His words truly resonated with me, profoundly within. This transcended mere physicality. A persistent unease had been weighing on him for quite some time. Following a brief moment of silence, I comforted Ethan, assuring him that everything was perfectly fine. He was merely processing his thoughts, and that was entirely natural. No one possesses all the answers, particularly at his age. He gazed into my eyes, seeking a sense of reassurance. Truly, I was sincere about it. I made a commitment to him that I would be there to assist, and regardless of the circumstances, we would confront this side by side. For the first time, a glimmer of relief appeared on Ethan's face. Gentleness. He reclined, towel grasped in hand, and released a deep, lingering sigh. "This is something I've never discussed before." I found myself pondering whether anyone would truly understand it. "At times, we overlook the true strength that lies within others," I remarked with a gentle smile. "Should you offer them an opportunity, you may find yourself astonished by their level of understanding. It's perfectly fine to be cautious about whom you choose to confide in. Not everyone is worthy of your deepest secrets." He nodded once more, this time with greater assurance, acknowledging that it was logical. Then the dialogue transitioned from his. Initially, we discussed his early concerns before transitioning to more pragmatic matters. I offered insights drawn from my personal experiences, maintaining a relaxed vibe and steering clear of any judgment or discomfort. In the course of our conversation, I observed a change in Ethan. He typically remains reserved, yet on this occasion he allowed himself to be vulnerable, revealing himself not only to me, but also to his own awareness. I observed that he was becoming aroused while gazing at me, which I anticipated due to my gender. Nevertheless, I can't claim it truly captured my interest, due to its immense size. I extended my assistance. I tidied it up occasionally, grasping it when necessary. In those moments, I chose to take charge, shifting it up and down. My thoughts were clouded with uncertainty. Yet I was aware that this wouldn't be the final moment I'd grasp it, even after what seemed like an eternity. The dialogue dwindled, and the previous strain in the bathroom dissipated, giving way to tranquility. Ethan gazed at me, his expression a blend of thankfulness and ease. "Thank you," he murmured. "I never imagined I would reveal this to anyone." I smiled and I softly placed my hand on his shoulder. "I'm truly grateful you reached out. Just know I'm always here if you need to chat about anything. Regardless of the situation, I'm here for you." He nodded, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. As I stood to exit the bathroom, a surge of various emotions washed over me. I experienced a sense of relief when Ethan shared his thoughts, and I was grateful for the opportunity to support him. Yet I couldn't help but sense that this was merely the beginning, that his challenges were more profound than he revealed. The evening continued on in a serene manner. Ethan retreated to his room, leaving me alone. As I lounged in the living room, a warm cup of tea in hand, my mind wandered back to our conversation. It was a rare occurrence. Ethan's choice to confide in me held significant weight, yet it also stirred a sense of discomfort within me. What if he was facing challenges I was unaware of, and I wasn't able to support him I wished to assist? Yet my thoughts were in a whirlwind as the moment slipped away. Eventually, I forced myself to go to bed, but sleep simply eluded me. As I lay there gazing at the ceiling, the burdens of the day bore down on me, intertwined with all the uncertainties that lingered. Only one thing seemed undeniable. I continued on, striving to support Ethan, unaware that the events of that night were merely the beginning. In the days that followed, an odd tension lingered in the air, yet from the outside all appeared to be ordinary. Ethan maintained his routine, working part-time at the local cafe, spending time in his room, and steering clear of the deeper conversations we had attempted to engage in. Yet there was undeniably a shift in our dynamic. A peculiar and unmistakable bond existed. Once Ethan shared his feelings, I made an effort to maintain a sense of normalcy and simply support him. I believed all was well, yet subtle details began to emerge. I noticed him retreating deliberately, steering clear of my gaze in the corridor, his shoulders tight each time I attempted to engage him in conversation. It felt as though he was closing himself off, retreating into a private realm that I was not permitted to access. During one evening meal, we found ourselves enveloped in silence, and I caught him stealing furtive glances at me from the periphery of his vision. For a fleeting instant, our gazes locked, but he swiftly averted his eyes, a flush creeping across his cheeks. That fleeting instant filled me with a strange, unsettling sensation, as if there were words lingering in the air unspoken. A palpable tension hung in the air. I attempted to dismiss it, yet it proved to be quite challenging. Our connection seemed to be drifting into a realm of uncertainty. Mark maintained his typical cheerful demeanor that evening, and we adhered to our usual routine, yet Ethan appeared to be unsettled. He remained quite silent, frequently stealing glances in my direction but swiftly averting his gaze whenever I noticed him. It was understated, yet by dawn, it became clear. Once Mark departed for work, I found myself alone with Ethan at home, diligently chopping in the kitchen to prepare lunch. Suddenly, I sensed footsteps softly trailing behind me. I pivoted and caught sight of Ethan. He lingered in the doorway, an air of uncertainty about him. I greeted him, making an effort to sound upbeat. "Is everything all right?" He looked at me for a moment, then offered a slight nod. "Absolutely, I'm here to chat." A flutter of nerves stirred within me. This was the moment that had lingered in the atmosphere for days. The knife I had been gripping was now laid down, and I turned completely to confront him. I inquired, "What's on your mind, Ethan?" I maintained a calm tone, despite the rapid beating of my heart. He shifted, restlessly pausing as he sought the perfect words. "He's been behaving somewhat strangely recently." As he began to speak, he chose his words with great care, as if each one held significant weight. "This unsettling feeling has been lingering, and I can't seem to get rid of it." I maintained my gaze on him, observing how he continually looked down, evading my eyes. I gently said to him, "Hey, if there's anything bothering you, feel free to share it with me, all right? I'm here for you." He paused before responding. Took a deep breath, as if preparing to express something difficult. At last he remarked, "I'm not entirely sure where I stand." His tone was laden with weight, ambiguity. His eyes revealed a vulnerability that shattered my heart. The uncertainty that lingered during our initial discussion remained present. The Ethan standing before me was a far cry from the one I once knew. He bore a weight invisible to others, grappling with a conflict he felt ill-equipped to confront. "It's all right," I murmured softly, stepping closer and resting my hand on his shoulder. At times, it's perfectly acceptable to not possess all the answers immediately. Even in moments of uncertainty, we will navigate through it side by side. He locked eyes with me. "Accompany me." His expression was a mixture of gratitude and an indescribable emotion. In his gaze, I truly glimpsed the authentic Ethan, unfiltered and sincere. He whispered, lost and unsure of who I am or where I fit in. "I guess I've outgrown my childhood. Sometimes growing up feels confusing." I found myself unprepared for the depth of his honesty. Ethan was grappling with emotional struggles that transcended mere growing pains or feelings of embarrassment. That sentiment resonates deeply with many individuals. I spoke softly, placing my hand on his shoulder. "It's tough. Don't attempt to absorb everything simultaneously. You're not by yourself in this. Your father and I are here to stand by you." He gazed at me, his expression becoming gentler, yet a trace of uncertainty lingered in his eyes. "I wish to avoid being a burden to anyone. Your presence is truly a gift." Even when challenges arise, I asserted to him with conviction, we remain family. We remain united during challenging moments. He nodded slowly, a faint smile appearing as if my words brought him some solace. Ethan appeared to relax somewhat. He devoted the remainder of the afternoon to the kitchen, assisting with the dishes and engaging in light conversation. Typically reserved, he was now more expressive, eager to reveal. After days of uncertainty, he finally resembled the Ethan I once knew, more at ease, less aloof. Yet, hidden behind his smiles and laughter, a weight still remained. Silent anxieties lay hidden within him. His eyes, only slightly ajar, revealed that this conversation, significant though it may be, was merely the beginning. That evening, as I reclined in bed, I reflected on it all. Since that moment, Ethan truly revealed himself to me in a way I had never experienced before. Yet I sensed there were aspects of him he concealed, elements he preferred to keep to himself. One thing was evident, however. I was resolute in my commitment to assist him, regardless of the time it required or the obstacles we faced. This extended beyond mere physical health or uncomfortable inquiries. I aimed to assist Ethan in navigating his challenges, leading him through the complexities of maturation. As the days went by, I felt certain that no matter what obstacles we encountered, we would confront them side by side. It was merely the beginning of our adventure. Following our discussion, there was a sense of delicacy in the air, yet an undercurrent of optimism persisted. Ethan was becoming more expressive, and I could sense a newfound lightness in him, as if a significant weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Yet beneath his polished exterior, a subtle uncertainty lingered, a tension palpable as if a hidden truth was poised to reveal itself. Throughout the week, I found myself reflecting on our conversation, questioning whether Ethan truly felt he could be entirely open with me. He revealed significant aspects of his life, and it instilled in me a deep sense of duty to support him and assist him in navigating whatever struggles he faces within. Chaos. Yet there was an elusive essence that emerged each time I gazed into his eyes. He sensed he was on the brink of something monumental, poised to turn everything on its head. One evening after dinner, Ethan seemed quite withdrawn. He barely spoke at the table, offering me brief, inattentive responses when I attempted to engage in conversation. I noticed him several times, yet he consistently turned his gaze elsewhere, lost in his own reflections after our meal. As Mark made his way to the living room to enjoy some television, I remained in the kitchen, absorbed in the task of washing the dishes. However, an odd sensation lingered within me. Ethan stood in the doorway, his expression enigmatic, his eyes typically uncertain now deep and inscrutable. My heart quickened as I gazed at him. I toyed with the dish towel, my voice barely above a whisper, as I attempted to maintain my composure despite the flutter of nerves within me. "Are you okay?" I asked. He nodded, but remained outside, not stepping in. We lingered in a heavy quiet, his emotions suspended in the air around us. Ethan remained silent, absorbed in his reflections. He appeared to have doubts regarding your assertion of being present for me. He paused for a moment, then moved in a bit closer, his expression tight with tension. "I need to discuss another matter, one that I find a bit perplexing." His statement sent my heart racing as I approached, a mix of anxiety and intrigue coursing through me. "Certainly, Ethan. We'll figure this out together." He sighed deeply, running his hand through his hair, his typical gesture of vulnerability as if to convey that no one should face this alone. "It's quite challenging to," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I have something to share with you." A wave of unease washed over me, leaving me uncertain about whom to confide in. I remained frozen, my breath held tight, sensing the gravity of the occasion. I restrained myself from urging him forward, yet my desire to assist remained strong. I simply nodded to indicate my presence for him. He hesitated, his gaze falling to the ground before meeting mine once more. A significant event had unfolded, leaving me grappling with weighty, unforeseen words that lingered in the atmosphere and took me by surprise. I blinked, uncertain if I understood his point. Distinct, I murmured, my heart racing. "What is it that you are attempting to convey?" Ethan gulped, his jaw tight, striving to maintain his composure. He expressed uncertainty about certain aspects of his identity. He said, "I think I might have feelings for you." I paused, uncertain if those feelings were solely my own, but as time passed, they began to feel genuine. His confession left me rooted to the spot, unable to move. I gazed at him at a loss for words. His words seemed to swirl around me as I struggled to grasp their meaning. My heart raced with anticipation. Thoughts swirled in my mind, each word colliding and echoing as I sought clarity. This was not what I anticipated. I was taken by surprise when I made that promise to stand by him. Yet when I gazed into his eyes, what I perceived was nothing but unadulterated sincerity and a profound longing. Ethan remained silent, lost in his thoughts as he sought to understand his own emotions. It dawned on me that he required a presence to simply hear him out, free from any judgment. Yet a surge of relief washed over me as I recalled the sight of his body in the bathroom, a memory that never failed to thrill me. I inhaled deeply, seeking to calm the tempest within. Inside, I whispered, "Ethan, my voice trembling slightly. I'm pleased to see you, but there's something I must share. I paused, searching for the appropriate words. You are exactly as you should be. This is merely a perplexing time, and it's natural to feel adrift occasionally. It's important to keep in mind that this entire situation is intricate. He nodded, his eyes reflecting a mix of trepidation and solace. I restrained my thoughts, choosing to bear this burden alone. His voice trembled, revealing his true fragility. This went beyond mere desire. He sought a refuge in a realm that seemed utterly tumultuous. I extended my hand, my fingers gently brushing against his shoulder. Ethan, I said, my voice steady, yet imbued with empathy. I'm committed to this journey. I genuinely want to assist, but we must approach this with caution. Your emotions matter, yet we need to tread carefully. I can't provide what you desire in the manner you envision, and I'm hesitant to guide us into a situation that might cause pain for either of us. He gazed at me. His lips quivered as if he were on the verge of retreating or pleading for me to go. Yet I remained attempting to soothe him in the only manner I understood. I made a commitment to be a person he could rely on, yet we had to determine what this truly signified for our relationship. A change stirred within me. I found myself questioning why I had declined previously. It awakened a profound feeling within me. Why not, indeed? After a brief pause, I wrapped my arms around his neck and pressed my lips against his. He returned my kiss. Our lips connected, savoring the instant. A wave of longing erupted between us. I stated, I apologize for the confusion. Ethan, I remarked after a brief moment of silence. It's nothing to worry about, he responded immediately. I halted the kiss and drew away. I finally obtained what I had desired since that moment in the lavatory. I glanced up, momentarily sidetracked, and noticed he was genuinely engrossed. Incredible, astonishing, he murmured. After about 10 minutes, I observed that he was wrapping things up, so I quickened the pace. A thick silence enveloped us, with neither of us uttering a sound, his words lingering in the atmosphere. Ethan inhaled deeply, his shoulders. He let out a long, weary sigh, as if it had been trapped inside him for an eternity. Thank you, he murmured. I need that to move forward. I expressed to him softly that I was pleased, even though internally I was quite torn. Keep in mind that you don't need to resolve everything in a single moment. You're not alone in this. Ethan paused, then nodded and stepped back. A subtle smile graced his lips as he softly remarked, I'm heading upstairs. Thank you once more. I hope I'll sleep better tonight. Good night, Ethan, I said as I watched him leave. He ascended the stairs, sensing a slight burden ease from his shoulders. In the solitude of the kitchen, an unsettling sense lingered, as if the air itself was charged with the promise of impending change. This moment carried weight, a pivotal juncture in our relationship, poised to either mend our bond or entangle it further. The following days unfolded in an unusual hushed manner. Changes were unfolding within the household. Ethan had withdrawn once more, yet it felt different this time. It was a gentle, elusive separation. He appeared to be processing all that existed between us. He faced challenges I made an effort to understand his perspective and determine the next steps to take. At times, he would simply drift away, lost in his own reflections. He gazed into the distance, seemingly oblivious to his surroundings, his fingers idly sketching patterns on his trousers or the coffee cup. I was hesitant to apply too much pressure on him. He needed to navigate this in his own manner, regardless of the challenges it presented. I aimed to provide him with the necessary space while ensuring my presence so he wouldn't feel isolated in his struggles. The burden he bore was impossible to overlook. His eyes, once vibrant and full of energy, now appeared an empty, faraway gaze. One afternoon in the living room, I noticed Ethan moving through the hallway, his shoulders drooping, head bowed, burdened by some heavy,